Today, I want to tell you a story. And this story happened to me when I was driving back from Minneapolis last week. I was in Minneapolis for work, and I was driving home to Iowa City. I was driving down the highway, and for whatever reason, I have no idea why, I still can't explain it to Maureen or anything, but for whatever reason, I felt compelled to get off at an exit along the way. And so I got off the highway. I took a few turns, some lefts, some rights, kind of zigzagged around a little bit, and then I hit a gravel road, and I curved around, drove until I reached an intersection. At this intersection, there was nothing. It was just open fields for miles and miles and miles, kind of the stereotypical Iowa that everybody talks about. Now, the reason I was at this specific intersection and why I stopped there in the middle of these fields is that there's a trail. And this trail, there's no map, there's no name, there's no anything. There is nothing to indicate that this is a trail beyond one thing. There's a metal sculpture of some very, very iconic eyeglasses. Those glasses are the only indicator that there's even a trail there. I grabbed my camera bag and I started journeying down the trail. I walked into nothingness. There was a field on one side of me, grass and a fence on the other side of me, with another field just beyond that barbed wire fence. Now, as I was walking down this trail, I had this peaceful, calming feeling coming over me, and I think it's because the wind was kind of forcing me to take deep breaths. It was almost like Mother Nature's way of making me do deep breathing exercises. Interesting, the further I got down this trail, the more at peace and the more relaxed, and just I felt something. I can't explain it. I just felt really different. And after a stressful week, it was a very welcomed feeling. To work my way down the trail, I started to see in the distance a pole with a handmade, homemade wind decoration. And it was just spinning in this wind. It was spinning out of control that day because the wind was so sharp and so just wild, but it was a warm wind. It was almost like a very strong breeze, but a calm breeze at the same time. This wind decoration, this handmade wind decoration, is in the middle of this field, but it's also at the end of the trail. Now, right below this pole, there's a cutout in the grass along the fence, and there's a very modest, small memorial at the base of it. Now, those of you that love music and you know the history of rock and roll and everything else, you probably know where I am at this point. But for those of you that don't know, this was the exact spot where on February 3rd, 1959, was also known as the day the music died, Buddy Holly, J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper, and Ritchie Valens, plus their pilot Roger Peterson, they all perished in that spot in a bad plane crash. Their lives are very well documented. The story is very well documented, but I'm not going to talk about that story. I'm going back to me in a field in that spot. As I looked at this small guitar memorial and thought about the impact these guys had made on the world, what really blew my mind is how old they were. You know, Ritchie Valens was only 17. And in those 17 years, all that he had accomplished just blows my mind. One thing he set out to do was he wanted to play music, make people smile, and have fun. And he always wanted to buy his mom a house so she never had anything to worry about. Once his records started selling, he did end up buying his mom a house. And you think about that, he was 17 years old and he had already bought his mom a house like he set out to do. These gentlemen were trailblazers. They set out and played the music they wanted to play because, as Buddy Holly was famous for saying, I have the sound in my head and I can't play what's out there now. I have to play what's in my head. And many people told him he can't do it. No, you can't do this, you can't do that. And for him to go out and do what he did in the short amount of time he was on the planet it's unbelievable. I thought about that and it prompted me to ask myself a question. And it was this question: what are you doing? What am I doing to get to where I want to be? What am I doing to accomplish my goals? What am I doing right now that's moving me forward, that's just even if it's a little bit, I'm still making progress towards where I want to be and what I want to do, and making my family's life better and making the people around me, lifting them up. Like, what are you doing? And just out there feeling that peaceful, relaxing feeling, being able to have clarity, it really helped me put some things in perspective that I need to put in perspective. We get so caught up in the day-to-day grind. We get so caught up in the little things that are here and in our bigger ideas, our bigger ambitions, regardless if it's in the creative space or whatever realm, whatever industry, it doesn't matter. But we get caught up in our day-to-day, and a lot of times our big ideas, we say, oh, someday. I'll get to it someday. I'll get to it someday. And every time we say someday, we're pushing it further and further away from us. And the thing with someday, when I was thinking about it out there, is that someday, just like these guys, someday may never come. But if we're working towards something every single day to get there and get to that goal, we're going to accomplish a lot along the way, just like those gentlemen did. I want to challenge you to do this. Find a space that you can be all alone, but you have a mirror. I want you to close your eyes and take 4 deep, slow, calming breaths, just in and out, really, really slow till you feel relaxed. Then I want you to open your eyes, stare directly in your own eyes in the mirror, and say, what are you doing? In the comments below, let me know your answer to that question. And if you come up with nothing, if you ask yourself, what am I doing? And the answer is nothing, just remember, someday may never come. So get up, get out there, and get after it. Because we only get one. We only go around once. I will see you tomorrow.